call the roll?
Mr. Talbot.
Here.
Mr. Minor. Mr. Washington.
Here.
Mr. Lavelle. Mr. Harris.
Here.
Mr. Avery.
Here.
Mr. Arden.
Here.
Mr. King.
Here.
Mr. Greenhouse.
Here. At this time, we'd like Mr. Arden.
Yep, everyone please rise. I got, Brother Lewis from, Revival Temple is gonna come and say a prayer for us. Come up to the podium with
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you blessed us with. God, we just thank you that you are our God and that you're the one that looks after us and takes care of us. We thank you for this meeting and for these councilmen here. We just ask your blessings upon them. Father, we thank you that you have blessed our parish. And I just pray, Father, as we enter into this weekend, God, that you would be able to be with us and that everyone would be able to respond in a right way. And God, we just give you praise and we thank you that your blessings is up on us and we thank you for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Brother Harold, would you stay there for just a
Hold on,
second?
Brother
Brother Harold, would you stay at the podium for a second?
We got something for you. Sheriff, you don't wanna come up with us? So, in case a lot of y'all don't know, Brother Lewis has been our chaplain in our prison since 2003. And he's retiring and he's gonna become a fisherman for as good now. So before I read this, Sheriff, do you have anything you wanna say about him?
But Brother Lewis is, he's been great to the sheriff's office. A lot of people don't know, but he actually spends a lot of his time in the back in the prison area with our inmates. He witnesses to them, he helps them, he guides them, and, hopefully sometimes he's redirected them. And, so that takes a lot for someone to give their time to do that kind of stuff. And I was proud to have Brother Lewis as part of our team, and we're gonna miss him. He also, was the person that organized my prayer breakfast that we have, the first Monday of every month. Some people think to do, some people don't. Scooter Junior over the end over there,
Hey,
Tracy,
what?
is that your name? Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a couple of times, but anyway, Brother Lewis is tremendous, he's been a great man of God and faith, and I just appreciate your service, and thank you guys for doing this, we greatly appreciate it, and ladies, thank you.
That's right.
This is a certificate of appreciation for Brother Lewis Harold, presented by the Livingston Parish Council. The Livingston Parish Council is proud to recognize Brother Lewis and celebrate his career as chaplain of the Livingston Parish Detention Center from March 5th, 2003 to July 31st, 2019. His tenure there exemplified the meaning behind John 13:35. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciple, if you love one another. Thank you, Brother Lewis Harold, for your dedication and service.
I would like to say I appreciate this, these 16 plus years that I was at the sheriff's office working as a chaplain. It was great. You meet a lot of people. I've had a lot of bosses. One of them is here tonight. Ben Bauer, he was my last boss that I had. But I had several wardens that worked there during that time. And they were all very good, and they have been they worked with me very well. And we was able to pass out, I guess, hundreds, maybe thousands of Bibles during that time. And we was able to pray with a lot of people, and we was able to lead people to Christ. That's the bottom line, is being able to reach them for Christ. And I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
At this time, I'd like to ask Tracy Girlinghouse to lead us in the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I want to apologize. I probably should have read 5 right after 1, but I'm new at this and I didn't remember. If you would mute or turn off your cell phones, please, at this time.
Yeah, that was correct.
And,
Yeah.
later on, we'll have public input per item. If we have an item that requires public input, we'll allow the public to make their input at that time. This time, we'd like to do presentations. Ms. Muriel Laws, candidate for Council District 6, would like to come and speak to the council. Ms. Laws?
Thank you, sir. Do I have to introduce myself, Steve? Muriel Laws, 26253 Poplar Grove Drive. Members of the Parish Council, my name is Muriel Laws. I am running for Parish Council of District 6, Livingston Parish, a seat that has lacked complete representation, a seat that has lacked adequate funding, a seat that has lacked a strong voice. Saturday, the voters will be voting on their next representative for District 6 Parish Council. And I am here to tell you why I am running, why I am the best candidate for that seat, why you, the constituents behind me, should vote for me. I am capable, competent, committed to be your representative. I am competent because I have 30 years of federal experience managing federal government funding. I have either led, managed, or supervised grant programs and contracts which distributed well over $100 million to state and local units of government. During the course of the federal fiscal year, contracts such as the environmental management support, which was $12.9 million, the EPA hazard ranking system, which was $3.3 million, the grant programs such as the Burn Formula Grant, which was $500 million appropriated annually, the Local Law Enforcement Block Grant, which was a $340 million appropriated annually, the Residential Substance Abuse Treatment grant program for state prisoners, which was $70 million, and a Project Safe Neighborhood grant, which was $233 million. I was also the executive to the director of the VA hospital who was building the new hospital after Katrina. I also was the 2010 Decennial Census Partnership Specialist for the federal government for the Southeast region of Louisiana. Most notably, I served as the Special Projects Lead for a $58 million initiative directed towards the Louisiana recovery of the criminal justice infrastructure ravaged by Hurricanes Katrina and Rita. I am capable because I possess the knowledge, skills, and abilities for building successful, effective, and productive working relationships with internal, such as yourselves, and external, my constituents, to achieve my goals. I have experience communicating with all levels of government, including 4 U.S. presidents, the community leaders, mayors, city managers, chiefs of police, etc. I am committed because I have lived here in Livingston Parish for over 12 years. I relocated here because of that guy back there. He convinced me through Gumbo and Magnolias to come down. But with that, and along with many residents, we have experienced inaction of this council to aggressively address the flooding, the zoning, the drainage, recycling, the harbor roads, as well as the smell we ingest daily, on a daily basis. I am uniquely qualified, according to the Book of Ordinance, which I have been reading a lot. According to the Book of Ordinance, Section 1-2, form of the government, the plan of government provided by this homeroom charter shall be known as the President Council form of government. It shall consist of an elected president who shall be the chief executive officer and head of the executive branch, and an elected council which shall be called the Livingston Parish Council and shall constitute the legislative branch of the government, and that is you all. As a member of this legislative branch, I believe I am the only candidate who possesses the experience, the knowledge, the skills, and abilities as a former federal employee who has managed state and local government funding that can effectively bring these unique qualifications and management to oversee the constitutional laws of this council. You, my constituents, deserve a representative who is capable of interpreting federal, state, and local laws as it applies to Livingston Parish. On a personal note, as I said, I'm married to a retired United Methodist pastor, Willis Laws. Between the both of us, we have 4 daughters, 8 grandchildren. I am the middle of 14 children, the 7th. My mother was a seamstress and my dad was a cab driver. They worked really hard and tirelessly to make ends meet. But what they did was that they taught all of us the importance of work ethic. As you see, I've already done 30 years on the federal level. I would like to continue it on the local level. They told us the importance of honesty, and most importantly, they taught us that our reputation depended on keeping our word. And I plan to keep my word for the constituents of District 6. Maya Angelou said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Well, believe me when I say I work hard and I am honest, because I have spent 30 years proving that managing federal funds. Believe me when I say I hear the concerns of the constituents, because I share their concerns. Believe me when I say together we are going to change District 6, because I will hit the ground running on day 1, working with you and for you. And I leave you and all of you with this scripture. Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and future. I thank you for this time, for allowing me to introduce myself. I look forward to working with each and every one of you as we take Livingston Parish forward in the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, next item is a presentation by Mr. Ronnie Morris. Mr. Ronnie, if you don't mind, take a moment, come up to the podium and tell us a little bit about the Bessie Board and you're running for.
Sure, thank you. Thanks for your time this evening. The questions that I typically get in this conversation are, who are you, what is Bessie, and why are you doing this? So let's start off with what is Bessie. My wife could be here this evening, but she's a lot better looking than me, and she's smarter than me. She graduated LSU with a 4.0. I just got out with an engineering degree. But when I went to her and said, I'm thinking about running for Bessie, she said, Ronnie, what's Bessie? So that's a very common question. So basically the short story is that Bessie is an 11-member board that establishes K-12 policy in the state of Louisiana. There's 8 elected members and 3 members are appointed by the governor. So I'm running for Bessie Board District 6, which is comprised of parts of East Baton Rouge, parts of Livingston, parts of Ascension, parts of Tangi, and all of Washington Parish. So it's a congressional district. It's 500,000 registered voters. So who's Ronnie Morris? So I'm a native Louisianian, born and raised here. I'm one of 6, the oldest of 6. I'm a first generation college grad. My wife Allison and I have 4 children, 5 grandchildren. My oldest granddaughter is in the 3rd grade here in Livingston Parish at 7th Ward. It's an A school. We're very proud of her in the school, and my daughter is very pleased as well. I went back to school at 32. At that time, I was a single parent, raising 2 little girls like this. By the grace of God, I got through that and graduated at 37 with an engineering degree. I taught high school calculus and physics. After that, I started my career at ExxonMobil. I've been there 23 years now. I'm currently the operations manager at the ExxonMobil cogeneration facility. Went back to school in 2015 to get my MBA, so I graduated from the Flores MBA program in 2017. When I got my feet on the ground with Exxon, I went back LSU. And I had a tremendous appreciation for teachers and education in general. And I founded a scholarship at that time, an endowment for students at LSU pursuing a career in education. I've contributed to that scholarship since then for the last 19 years. It's currently the largest scholarship in the state of Louisiana for students pursuing a career in education. Throughout my career, I volunteered with the Junior Achievement Program in Baton Rouge for 15 years, facilitating free enterprise classes in 4 Baton Rouge high schools. In the last 3 years, I got interested in STEM education. So my wife and I designed and built our own home, and I rented all the cool boy toys and rented a bulldozer and dug up a pond in my backyard so I could have a pond for my grandkids to come visit me. So put fish in it, and I had to learn pond management and so forth. I got interested in aquaponics. So from that, I founded a nonprofit organization, and we currently have 200 students in North Baton Rouge schools in the program. It's an innovative approach to STEM education. What we do is we circulate 1,000 gallons of water in the classroom, and we get our catfish fingerlings from the LSU vet school. So these little middle school kids in North Baton Rouge feed the fish, and the waste from the fish that's entrained in the water provides the nutrition for the lettuce that's growing downstream. So the kids learn the STEM concepts associated with running the system. They harvest the lettuce in the system, they serve it in the school cafeteria, and they invoice the cafeteria for their product. So they get the STEM education, they learn how to run a manufacturing facility, and they get the entrepreneurial experience as well with their relationship with the East Baton Rouge Parish school system. So we completed our pilot program there. We expanded it the next year to Estrella High School. So now we've got an R&D lab at the middle school, we've got an R&D lab at the high school. And so basically we built a bridge from the middle school to the high school so those kids have a soft landing. And now what we're working on is a project to scale up the R&D centers so that they've got a commercial scale climate controlled greenhouse on the Estrella campus. And so we'll be bringing in 2 different tracks of kids there. One are the STEM kids in year 3 and 4 of the program, and then you've got kids that are in the Jumpstart program, and they're coming in on the entrepreneurial track. They want to know how to run a small business. So we've got a partnership. Our community partners include ExxonMobil, Tony Seafood, Capital City Produce, the LSU Vet School, and the LSU College of Education. So what the project does is it provides part-time jobs on campus for these kids that otherwise couldn't afford or couldn't get a part-time job because they don't have transportation. It provides a sustainment mechanism for the entire program, the sale of the fish and the produce. So we've got wholesale outlets established with Tony Seafood. Tony Seafood buys all the catfish the kids can raise, and then Capital City Produce buys the vegetation in excess of what they serve in the cafeteria. So I feel like this is an innovative approach to STEM education. It's a model that can be used in other STEM concepts throughout the city, throughout the state. And if I'm elected on the Bessie board, this is one of the things I'm interested in. Is how we can introduce more STEM projects in the state of Louisiana in our schools. The STEM jobs in the 21st century are going to be the highest paid jobs that are available to us. The other thing I would add is, as a Bessie board member, I'm against Common Core, or federal oversight of education in our state. I believe that teachers are professionals. They should be compensated like professionals for professional performance. And the other thing I would share, from my experience with this campaign, which is my first, by the way, is that God doesn't make carbon copies. Every child is unique, and we have to recognize. I think as a Bessie board, we have to work with the local school districts, and we have to identify with the needs at the local level, because the issues and challenges in Lewiston Parish are not the same as they are in East Baton Rouge Parish, or Bogalusa, or Ascension Parish. And so I think as a Bessie board, we should be working directly with the local boards so that they can recognize their needs. And Bessie serves as an enabler for those boards so they can identify their needs and then work on their own strategy, right, to address their needs relative to the policy that Bessie set in place statewide. So I'll just close out saying that I'm endorsed by students I've worked with for the last 20 years, teachers, principals, school board members, and school administrators. I'm also endorsed by Lobby, the Baton Rouge Area Chamber, Stand for Children, Louisiana Federation for Children, and the Louisiana GOP. I appreciate your consideration on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
C is gonna be deferred. We had a conflict in scheduling. We'll move to item 8, adoption of the minutes. We've got the minutes from September 12th, 2019. We have a motion on adoption.
moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Wascom. We have a second by Mr. Harris. Is there any objection? No objection, then we'll consider those adopted. Item B, the minutes from September 26th, 2019 from the regular meeting. Do we have a motion on that? Got a motion by Mr. Everett. Do we have a second by Mr. Ard? Is there any objection on adoption of those minutes? None, so it'll be unanimous again. We're gonna consider those adopted. Item 9, the parish president's report. Mr. DeGirolamo, were you handling that today, the off-system bridge program?
Yes, sir, that comes out of Public Works.
Yes, sir.
This is just something that we give to you guys each year to adopt, certify our bridge program. It's just something that the state requires, so I just need a recommendation of the resolution passed, so we can continue our bridge inspection on the state.
I'll make that move. I'll second.
Got a motion by Mr. Scooter King and a second by Mr. Tracy Girlinghouse. Is there any objection to the motion to accept the recommendation on the bridge program? None, so that carries. Item 10, we got Mr. Ryan in, Mr. Jim Ryan. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all ayes have it.
Thank you.
No, Jim. I didn't do something right on 9, Jim, so we're gonna, now it's you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the adoption of the ordinance that was introduced at the last meeting for the refinancing of the parish courthouse bonds that you issued. It simply lowers the interest rate on your debt. Right now, you're paying 4.61%. We think we can get it down to about 3.3%. That's a savings of about 1.3%. The estimated savings is approaching $1.5 million. Rates have been favorable over the last couple of months. I just wanted to say one thing. I know y'all probably have this question, but I've gotten a number of questions from people asking me a couple of things. One was, are we extending the length of the debt? And the answer to that is absolutely not. We are simply lowering the interest rate on the debt. We're not extending the length of the debt. The other thing is, some of y'all who've been on the council for a while may remember when we did the courthouse bonds, they're paid for with filing fees. So when someone files something at the clerk of court's office, they pay an extra fee, and that's how the debt's paid. Any surplus from those filing fees goes into a fund for the maintenance and operation of the courthouse. And there are 5 stakeholders that manage that fund: the sheriff, the chief justice of the 21st Judicial District, the assessor, the clerk of court, and the parish president. And those 5 members manage that fund, and they decide what to do with it for the upkeep and maintenance and operation of the courthouse. I've gotten several questions, people asking me, not y'all, but asking me, are you taking that money to refinance the bonds? No, we're not touching that money. Are you changing the way that fund is managed? No, we're not changing the way that fund is managed. In fact, when we reduce your debt service annually on these bonds, you should have more money available in that fund for those 5 people to manage and use for the upkeep and maintenance and operation of the courthouse.
Thank you. Ms. Sandy, you want to read the ordinance by title? Or Jim, you want to read it? We're gonna let Jim read it?
I'll read this stuff.
An ordinance authorizing the parish of Livingston, said Louisiana, to proceed with not to exceed $17 million financing through the Louisiana Local Government Environmental Solutions Community Development Authority. Authorizing and ratifying the parish of Livingston, said Louisiana's request of the Louisiana Local Government Environmental Solutions Community Development Authority to issue its taxable revenue refunding bonds. Authorizing the borrowing of the parish of Livingston, said Louisiana, of the proceeds from the sale thereof, approving and ratifying within certain parameters the terms of the sale of the bonds, authorizing the form and execution of the loan agreement, authorizing the form and the execution of the agreement for the purchase of the bonds, and ancillary financing documents, and otherwise providing with respect thereto.
Yeah, thank you. At this time, we need to open the public hearing on the adoption of LP Ordinance 1930. Does anyone like to speak on this? If no one likes to speak, we're going to close the public hearing. Is there a motion? We got a motion by Mr. Everett. Do we have a second by Mr. Girlinghouse? Ms. Sandy, would you call the roll?
Mr. Girlinghouse.
Yes.
Mr. Ard.
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Mr. Wascom.
Yes.
Mr. Talbert.
Yes.
Mr. Avery.
Yes.
Mr. Harris.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries.
Thank you, Mr.
All right,
Chairman.
thank you, Jim,
Thank you, Jim.
appreciate it. Item 11, Planning Department, Mr. DeGirolamo.
Okay. First on the agenda is Nichols Lake subdivision, first filing. This is in Mr. Bubba Harris's district, off Forest Club Road. We need a motion to accept the roads and improvements into the maintenance system.
Do we have a motion for that? We got a motion by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Ard. Is there any objection to that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we got that taken care of, Mr.
And I think we
DeGirolamo.
need a motion also, Mr. Chair, to release the $247,733.85 maintenance bond.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a motion? Motion by Mr. Harris, second by Mr. Wascom. Any objection to that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Sam. Item 12, Planning Commission recommendations, that's you also.
Yes, sir. First on the agenda will be Julie's Entergy servitude revocation. It's a recommendation of the Livingston Parish Planning Commission to approve the servitude revocation for Julie Entergy. This is a commercial project that you guys, it's in Mr. Shane Mack's district. Those solar panels that you approved here months back, this is just kind of revolt or servitude that goes right down through the middle of it. So, Ms. Sandy, if you take mine.
So we gotta read the ordinance by title, Ms. Sandy?
Yes, and I would like to ask a couple questions before we do that if possible.
Okay,
I called Natalie today just to make sure they had all their ducks in a row,
Yes,
all
they
the
did.
letters received.
Yep.
Everything was done, so I wanted y'all to know that, they had all their stuff done.
Okay.
And, we sent it to Mr. Chris for him to review, as we normally do for him to go over, just wanted everybody to know that too. So the next number is gonna be 1931. Now, this is proposed ordinance 19-31, it's an ordinance revoking, abandoning, quitclaiming in favor of all South Alexander Development 1 LLC, 2 certain 60-foot wide all-purpose servitudes located in section 42, Township 7 South, Range 6 East, Livingston Parish, State of Louisiana, being a portion of tract A1, Jacob I. Dale Division, as cross-hatched on a re-subdivision of tracts A, B, C, and D into tract A1 by dating, is that the way you say that? Dating? Mark Hughes?
Marks.
And Associates dated September 27, 2018, last revised August 6, 2019. And the public hearing is gonna be on October 24th at 6:30 p.m.
okay, so we have a motion for that introduction?
That's actually Tab's district, right? District
Right.
8?
I think that's Shane.
Shane's 9.
And Shane Mack's district.
But that dual energy thing actually is in Tab's district. I mean,
Tab called me about it today.
Okay.
He said he was good with it, so, I'll make a motion for
Got a
it.
motion by Mr. Ard, do we have a second? Second by Mr. Averett. Is there any objection? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Sam, item B.
Okay, next on your agenda is Lucy Andy Seafood. This is an existing building, he's turning into a little seafood shop. It is the recommendation of the Livingston Parish Planning Commission to approve the site plan for Lucy Andy's Seafood.
This is,
That's my district.
this is your district.
That's
And
in
it's
Mr.
just gonna be
Bill Davis'
it's just
district.
gonna be a
I'm sorry.
drive-through. You can go drive-through and pick up seats.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
We have a second, got a motion by Mr. Everett and a second by Mr. Wascom. Is there any objection? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item C, Mr. Sam.
Next on the agenda is a commercial development, the Waffle House. This is in Mr. Gary Talbot's district, Highway 16, north of Kane Market. Mr. Gary's very familiar with it. It is a recommendation of the Livingston Parish Planning Commission to approve the preliminary site plan for Waffle House.
Can we get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
We got a motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Harris. Any objection to this? Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
2 minutes from my house.
D.
I like it.
It ain't as good as what was there.
Next and last is another existing facility. This is in Mr. Shane's district. Holman Mill CDK project. It's on Florida Boulevard. It is a recommendation of the Livingston Parish Planning Commission to approve the preliminary site plan for the Holman Mill CDK project. They're just adding on is what they're doing, and I think adding on a lot of employees.
Shane called me today when he was leaving on the way back, and he was very in favor, so we need a motion on this. Got a motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Averett. Any objection to this? All in favor, say aye. Doke.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sam.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mr. Sam.
Item 13, addition of roads for consideration to the capital outlay priority road list. Dunmark Road is in Mr. King's district.
Yep. You need to make a motion, to put that on there now.
I wanna add,
Okay, while we're doing it, let's see, if everybody's got a road, Jeff, you got a road?
I got two.
Okay, what are they? Sandy, you wanna get these down?
Lon Stafford Road and Mack Road.
Okay, and Bubba, you have a road?
Homer Harris.
Homer Harris Road. Why do we know it's a relative of yours? No, I'm just.
Hey, everybody down there is a relative.
I know, I'm just thinking. Okay, so we need a motion to add 4 roads
I'll make that motion.
to the priority road list. We got a motion
For
by
consideration.
Scoot for
For
consideration.
consideration, yes.
Motion by
It'll be
Scooter,
stored.
second by Mr. Ard. Any objection? Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we moved through that one. Item 14 is a discussion of, that's a standing item, I don't think we have anything on it this time, so we're gonna move through that. 15 was discuss land subdivision resub, I think we're gonna table that to the next meeting, or we gonna send that to ordinance, Bubba? What do you wanna do?
We just gonna defer it.
Defer it?
Yeah.
Okay, item 16, set speed limit on Old Frost Road at 40 miles an hour located off Louisiana Highway 444 in Council District 8. Jeff, you handling tab stuff
I
tonight?
think Jeff Favors.
Oh, Jeff Favors handling
I'll make
tab?
that motion.
What's it at now?
I don't know.
There is no,
It really, ain't- I don't think it's
Doesn't
speed
have
limit
a
on it.
limit.
It's
Alright,
50,
okay.
So we have a
25 or whatever.
motion, I have a motion by Mr. Averett, second by Mr. Ard. Any objection to change the speed limit to 40? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 17, we have board resignations and reappointments. Fire Protection District 8, for,
That's in tab in my district.
okay, so you wanna handle those for
Yeah.
us?
I got, 2 appointments, actually, well, we got the Village of French Summit, we got a resignation there, but we got to reappoint 2. Yeah, they expired, and we just got to reappoint them.
Okay, so,
That's tab. Fabian Breniak and Brian Baum, all is the reappointments.
okay, so we got a motion to reappoint Mr. Brignac and Mr. Baum.
Yeah.
Is that all, okay, is that all we've got?
No, we got a one
We
for
can
the
do all
village.
these together, can't we?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and we also got a resignation by Mr. Gilbert Mathern, and they want to add, for the Village of French Summit, they want to add Chad Porsche.
Okay, so we've got a motion by Mr. Averett to add, or to reappoint Mr. Brignac and Mr. Baum as council appointments and concur on the, ratify the appointment of Village of French Settlement, Mr. Chad Porsche.
Yeah.
Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Ard. Is there any objection? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that's done. Do we have a district attorney's report? Same one we always have. Ordinance committee did not meet this week. We'll be meeting on the 24th, and we're gonna try to discuss speed bumps, and we're gonna address the syringe program that they want us to talk about. Do we have a report on finance?
Finance committee meets not till next week.
Nothing on finance. We have councilman comments. Mr. Harris would like to discuss trunk or treat.
Yes, sir, I would.
Let's get after it.
Get out there. Well, the thing is, we have a lot of people that's getting involved this year. A lot of businesses is getting involved. Now my problem is finding enough people to work there and pass out the candy. So if any of y'all or you know anyone that would like to come and help with that, it'd be greatly appreciated.
So, Bubba, they don't have to decorate a car, if they just show up to help you pass out,
Yeah, that's
that'd be
fine.
fine. I wish I was gonna be there, but
I know.
I'll be there, Bubba.
oh, I ain't missing that. That's good.
You can, I only got one good leg, but I might try to be there. I mean, I dressed as a mummy.
That's fine.
Okay, Mr. Wassom's got a comment, Mr. Keen's got a comment, Mr. R's got a comment.
Probably is.
I want to let everyone know, especially that's on the west side of the parish, Old River Road, which runs from Magnolia Beach Road down to Range Avenue, will be closed starting October the 15th. They are going, the state, along with Gravity Drainage District and the parish, have worked together to replace some small, undersized culverts going under Old River Road. and it's just caused a lot of flooding south of Magnolia Beach Road and on the east side of, I think that's 1028 Old River Road. And so they're replacing culverts from 2 small ones to 4 big ones spread out to allow that water to get to the river. But Old River Road will be closed on October the 15th, probably for about a month. And so I just want to let y'all know that as well.
Thank you, Mr. Wasserman. Mr. King?
I just want to remind everybody that Election Day is Saturday, the 12th. If you hadn't early voted, please go exercise your right to vote.
Mr.
That's what I was gonna say, and I also wanna add that the fair is going on until Saturday.
I do that because it started raining today.
Yeah, well, that's typical. Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Fair is it.
And also we have the rodeo Friday night and Saturday night.
All right.
Did you?
All that's it for council comment?
Motion to adjourn.
Got a motion by Mr. Wasserman, second by everybody.
Everybody.
No, anybody object? No objection? All in favor say aye.
Yeah,
Fair.
yeah, don't mind.
Everybody.
Whoever, it's a
Thank
record
y'all.
meeting this year.